Welcome to It's a Crime. I'm Linda, and today I'm going to be giving you an update in the Lori Vallow Daybell case. I'm going to give you the response from Rob Wood in response to Mark Means' motion to disqualify the prosecuting attorney, plus I have a little bit of info snacks for you as well. But before I get into it, if you'd like to be part of the It's a Crime community, please click that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell, make sure you do it to all so that you can be notified of all my videos and my next upcoming live streams. Please give this video a like and please share this out where you can. Now, let's get into it. Hey, John and Mark, pick a straw, any straw. There were 3 documents filed yesterday, and I did read over these documents, and looks like there's some shady things going on from the defense. Yesterday, I did a video on the motion that Mark Means initiated and filed. And as I was editing, I noticed there was a replacement document that was actually from John Pryor, not Mark Means, but it was very, very similar. Now, before I get into that, I need to give you a little info snack. John Pryor and Mark Means share an office. Here's where John's office is, and here's where Mark's office is. And when you actually go to Mark Means' website, I found it a little comical of what his tagline reads. Don't get thrown under the bus. Now, you know where we've heard that from before? We actually heard Alex Cox telling that to Melanie Gibb. He says, I can't believe she threw you, meaning Lori, under the bus like that. And boom, Lori's lawyer is Mark Means. You can't even make this circus up. So back to John and having a very similar motion like Mark Means. Here's what it plays out in my mind, knowing that Mark and John share the same office. John would say, hey, Mark, can I look at your document? Let me have a look at that. Mark says, yeah, sure, John. Thanks, he says. And he looks at it. He adds a couple alleged misconduct in there because misconduct was in there, but he adds alleged all throughout. Alleged misconduct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And shaves down the grounds of motion a little bit. And then he makes sure in true John kiss up style adds honorable court at the end. And it'll save him time and money, so he just tosses it to his legal aid and says, yeah, that'll do. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe the voices in the corner told him to do it, just like it did in court.
Sorry, Judge, I heard some voices in the corner and it distracted me. I apologize.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Oh, and Mark Means his errors that I read out loud on purpose yesterday, that's actually been amended. So he didn't say entitles. He actually fixed it to say entities, so there's that. So let's get into the document. This one is a motion for judicial protective order, and Rob Wood is fighting back, and I don't second guess him at all. The state of Idaho, by and through the Madison County Prosecutor's Office, serving as a special prosecutor in Fremont County in the above captioned case, hereby moves this court for a judicial protective order prohibiting the parties, witnesses, potential witnesses, victims, victim witness coordinators, law enforcement officers, and court personnel from 1. Providing any exhibits referenced in the defendant's motion to disqualify the special prosecutor or any exhibits any party intends to admit in a hearing on that matter to any reporters, the media, or from publishing said exhibits on social media. 2. Making any comments regarding the above captioned case on social media, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Side note, if you remember, Mark Means did a tweet on Melanie Gibb with a little gif of rats running. Number 3, providing any correspondence or communications between or among the parties to the media or publishing said correspondence or communications on social media. This motion is based on the following. 1. This is a high-profile case that has received a large amount of media coverage. 2. The defense has filed a motion to change venue, and any comments by any of these parties to this case only serve to heighten media attention. And or 3. Participating in any of the acts listed above creates more media attention and will create difficulty in picking a jury on this matter. The state requests an expedited hearing on this matter and requests that the court enter a temporary order granting the relief sought above until such time as a hearing may be had. dated the 16th day of December 2020. And this was actually signed by Troy Evans, who is the Deputy Special Prosecuting Attorney for Fremont County. And also a side note, we did hear about John complaining about the widespread media attention and how he actually wants this moved to Boise, Idaho as well. But I guess he didn't stop and think it through that this would bring about a lot of media attention as well. I say this because I'm going to give you the info of what Rob Wood has to say. So let's go to the affidavit. Here's the affidavit of Rob Wood in support of objection to defendant's motion to disqualify prosecuting attorney and motion to extend time on motion to dismiss. I, Rob Wood, being first duly sworn, depose and say, I am over the age of 21 years, competent to testify, and I have personal knowledge as to the matters stated herein. I make this affidavit of my own knowledge. I am the duly elected prosecuting attorney for Madison County, Idaho, serving as a special prosecutor in Fremont County in the above captioned cases. At no time did I coerce, unduly influence, coach, and or intimidate any witness or instruct a witness how to respond to any questions by law enforcement. At all times during the recordings referenced by the defense in their motion to disqualify prosecuting attorney and motion to extend time on motion to dismiss, Summer Shiflett and Zulema Pastanes were represented and accompanied by their Arizona attorney, Garrett Smith. I have never met with Mrs. Shiflett or Ms. Pastanes outside the company of their attorney. The meeting with Mrs. Shiflett took place on or about October 1st, 2020, and the meeting with Ms. Pastanes took place on or about October 2nd, 2020. Both meetings took place at the Chandler, Arizona Police Department. The meetings I attended with Mr. Smith, Mrs. Shiflett, and Ms. Pastanes came about as a result of Ms. Pastanes reaching out to my office and law enforcement through her attorney, Mr. Smith. The meetings I attended with Mr. Smith, Mrs. Shiflett, and Ms. Pastanes were introductory in nature and not investigative. Said meetings took place before investigative meetings with law enforcement. I did not sit in on the meetings with law enforcement. At no time did Mr. Smith make any objection to statements made by me, and after the introductory meetings, Mr. Smith accompanied his clients to interviews with law enforcement in which they actively participated of their own free will. At no time during or after our meeting did Mr. Smith raise an objection or concern that I had coerced, unduly influenced, coached, intimidated, or instructed a witness how to respond to any questions. Not only did Mr. Smith not object to anything said during the initial meetings with Mrs. Shiflett and Ms. Pastanes, Mr. Smith and Ms. Pastanes then met with law enforcement a second time a few weeks after the meeting. I did not record the meeting with Mr. Smith, Mrs. Shiflett, and Ms. Pastanes. The recordings provided by the defense were recorded without my knowledge or consent and do not include the entirety of the conversations among me, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Shiflett, and Ms. Pastanes, and as such appear at some level to be incomplete and or possibly edited. I believe that Mr. Smith recorded these conversations due to the fact that part of the recording with Ms. Pastanes appears to have taken place outside of Ms. Pastanes' presence. I do not know if Mrs. Shiflett and Ms. Pastanes consented to the recordings or to any disclosure to any third parties. Respectfully submitted this 16th day of December 2020. I will say it is a lot easier to read than John Pryor's motion and also Mark Means' motions, even though one copied the other. So probably not the best idea, John. Now, the third one that I did read was a motion also backing up basically Rob Wood, and it was submitted by Troy Evans. He talked about in there the same types of things that the defense recorded Rob Wood without the knowledge or consent of his and does not include the entirety of the conversation. So he backed up everything in that, so no need to read it. It's redundant. Now, this actually just reeks of shady behavior in my opinion. I thought that very thing when I read these accusations against Rob Wood. So this does not surprise me in the least, especially what we've been seeing recently with John Pryor. And it seems like the rules do not apply to them. They just need to, like I said, grasp at straws. And most of you in the comments said the same thing. They're also, in my opinion, throwing a hissy fit after that recording came out about Lori. Things are not looking good for them, for Lori and for Chad Daybell. So I guess when you are on the defense and you have to back up those two, well, what do you have, right? It's a very, very complicated case, and there's a lot of moving parts, obviously, to this case. And there's a lot of things that are going to come out because time and time again, we're seeing the patterns and the behavior of Chad Daybell and of Lori Vallow / Lori Vallow Daybell, whatever she is. You just have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why these measures? If they weren't worried about the case and thought it was a shoe-in, they probably wouldn't do these tactics and fabricating a bunch of BS. I actually was a little surprised that John Pryor wouldn't do his due diligence and find out exactly about this recording rather than just borrow from the family attorney, Mark Means, and run with it. But I doubt this behavior will stop. We're seeing a pattern, and we're going to continue seeing a pattern. This circus is only going to get bigger, especially with John Pryor. Let me know what your thoughts are below. Let's have a chit chat. Stay tuned for more court documents. They're coming. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please like and please share. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.